the 7-minute audit. Marcus was 32 years old when he realized he'd wasted an entire year of his life. Not sick, not injured, just lost. And it all happened because he never asked himself one simple question. Marcus worked at a marketing firm. Good job, good paycheck. But every Sunday night, he'd feel this strange knot in his stomach, like something was slipping away and he couldn't grab it fast enough. He'd scrolled through his phone at midnight, looking at old photos, pictures of him smiling at places he'd forgotten visiting, friends he used to text constantly, now months of silence, a half-finished book on his nightstand, a gym membership he paid for but never used. Then one Sunday, something broke. His best friend, Jamal, called him at 11 p.m. Marcus hadn't answered calls from Jamal in weeks. When he finally picked up, Jamal didn't even say hello. "Bro, why are you ghosting me?" Marcus felt it hit him. A wave of guilt so heavy, it knocked the air out of him. He tried to make an excuse. Work was crazy, life was busy. But even as he said it, he knew it was a lie. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He sat on his couch in the dark and asked himself, when did I stop being the person I wanted to be? He realized he wasn't making decisions anymore. Life was just happening to him. The next morning, something clicked. Marcus grabbed a notebook, literally just paper and a pen. He didn't overthink it. He just decided to do something radical. Every Sunday, he would audit his life. Not for hours, just 7 minutes. Here's what Marcus did. He wrote down the 3 areas of his life that mattered most: family, friends, health. He asked himself honestly, am I investing time in these this week? He wrote yes or no next to each one. He looked at the next week and asked, what's one thing I can do for each area? Not perfect, not extreme, just one thing. He wrote down what he actually did last week that made him proud. Just one win, even if it was tiny. He checked his calendar for the week ahead. Did it match his priorities? If not, he moved things around. If his friends mattered, he had to make time for them. He wrote down one thing he was grateful for that week, something specific. He closed the notebook and committed to one change for the next week. The first Sunday, Marcus called Jamal back. The second Sunday, he realized he'd gone to the gym 3 times. Not because he suddenly became disciplined, but because he saw it written down. It mattered enough to look at. The third Sunday, he noticed something strange. His anxiety was fading. By week 4, his sister called him out of nowhere and said, "You've been different lately, like actually present when we talk." 6 months later, Marcus looked back at his notebook stack. He had 24 Sundays of audits. The pages weren't perfect. Some weeks he only did one of his 3 priorities. Some Sundays he only managed 5 minutes instead of 7. But here's what shocked him. He could see the pattern now. When he skipped a week with his friends, he felt empty. When he moved work calls to the evening to protect gym time, his mood shifted. When he looked back and saw his wins written down, even the small ones, he felt real pride instead of just the hollow feeling of staying busy. Marcus wasn't trying to be a different person. He was just asking himself every week, am I still me? Am I still living or just existing? 1 year later, he actually finished that book. Jamal was his accountability buddy for the gym. His sister invited him to family dinner, and for the first time in years, he actually wanted to be there instead of checking his phone. And here's the thing. Marcus didn't need some fancy app or expensive planner. He didn't need to overhaul his entire life. He just needed 7 minutes every Sunday to remember who he was, to check in with himself, to say, this week I'm going to be intentional. Because that's what most people miss. Life doesn't just happen while you're making other plans. It disappears while you're not paying attention. 1 week, you skip the gym. 1 month, you don't call your mom. 1 year, you haven't seen your best friend. And then you're 32, sitting in the dark, wondering where you went. But Marcus broke that cycle. Not with motivation, not with a New Year's resolution, just with 7 minutes every Sunday. Your life isn't built in a moment. It's built in the choices you make every single week. And the only way to make real choices is to actually stop and look at what you're doing. If you try this 7-minute audit this Sunday, drop a comment and tell me what changed. Subscribe for more stories about the small habits that transform everything.